Welcome back, it's me, Lou. Today will be a special video as we showcase one of my recent action figure purchases. Alright, before we begin, I got this guy at Wax Packs Records and Toys. If you happen to be in the Chicagoland area, check this place out, it's awesome. So yesterday I was at the shop and I came across this. It was something that Aaron purchased recently from a regular customer. It's from Kenner. This is the vintage Dark Knight Collection Crime Attack Batman. Now this action figure is actually one of my holy grails. I know that sometimes holy grails are defined by like the monetary value of the piece. Even though this thing isn't like, necessarily a fortune, for me it has a lot of sentimental value. I'm a huge fan of the Michael Keaton 1989 Batman. I was about maybe 12 or 13 years old when that movie came out. And the first wave of action figures that were produced in conjunction with that movie were produced by Toy Biz. And those are pretty cool action figures. Toy Biz made a Batwing and also a Batmobile. They made a Batcave. They made a Joker figure. They made Bob the Goon and a bunch of other figures from like... I think it was like the DC, it was kind of like their take on like the DC Superpowers collection that Kenner did. But when Kenner obtained the license, obtained the license for the Dark Knight collection, for me, this was kind of like the premier '89 Batman figure. Even though the sculpt was pretty much a reuse, I think, of the original Superpowers figure. I'm so sentimental toward this line of action figures. Everything from the package design, with the Michael Keaton photograph on the card back, to the use of the '89 logo and the way the figure was showcased on the card with the accessories. I kind of felt it like the entire package was really tight and pulled together very nicely. So this version is actually Crime Attack Batman. Now, if you're familiar with Kenner's line of Batman figures, they always kind of had like a different Batman for like almost every season. The Crime Attack Batman was, I think, the closest you got to the '89 Batman. It was the black and gold costume. There wasn't anything fancy about it. And he came with a simple like rocket launcher that kind of emulated the Batarang and the grapple hook. On the back, here are instructions on how to use the accessory. Snap the weapon onto his arm, insert the projectile, and then you press a button and it shoots away. And then here are some other figures in Kenner's Dark Knight collection. There was Tech Shield Batman, which was a gold costumed Batman. There was Wall Scaler Batman, which I think didn't come with a cape. It just kind of came with a backpack and a zip line. And then there was Skyscape Joker. I actually have this figure in my collection. I should hunt it down and review it. And of course, they made some vehicles, motorcycles, helicopters, and even a bike for Joker. One of the funnest accessories was this life-size role-play gun. This was Batman's sonic neutralizer. Of course, Batman didn't use it. And if you have a really keen eye, you'll notice this was actually pulled from Kenner's Star Wars lines of toys. So this is a Star Wars blaster. And then they even made a Batarang. So this figure is pretty old. This came out back in 1990. So you're looking at something that's roughly 33 years old. The card isn't in the best shape, but I don't really mind. Like I said, for me, there's just a whole lot of sentimental value behind this. Unfortunately, we're not going to unbox this, but at the very least, I can give you an idea of what the action figure is like. Alright, so over here we have a Batman, also taken from the Dark Knight collection, produced by Kenner. And as you can see, identical figure. Although I do think there's pieces here that might have been pulled from the Superpowers line. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, just correct me down below. I do think they updated the look, to match the '89 Batman. You can tell with the utility belt here and the cowl. But for the most part, this is the identical figure to this one. The only thing difference is the color scheme. And it came with this cloth cape, and there was a plastic ring underneath the cape that would that'd be the way to attach to the neck. And in terms of the articulation, very basic. You're looking at, I think, at 5 points of articulation. You know, the head moves, arms move, and legs move. And that's essentially it. You know, back in the late 80s, early 90s, action figure technology was still pretty much at a standstill from where it was in the early, from the early 80s also. I think in terms of like super articulated action figures, I think you got those from like Hasbro's G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero. But at the time, I don't think Hasbro purchased Kenner yet. I think it was still owned by Tonka during this time period. You know, I think it'd be some years later. I think possibly around Power of the Force, when Hasbro, I think, acquired Kenner and eventually absorbed them into their company. But great figure, a lot of sentimental value. And real quick, here is a much more recent throwback kind of action figure. This is McFarlane produced. This is from McFarlane's Superpowers collection that you can find at Walmart. It's kind of a callback to the older style of action figure. You know, I know some fans kind of frown upon the McFarlane stuff, thinking the older stuff is superior, which in many ways, the older stuff is superior, but I think it's nice that that McFarlane is, making a go and trying to like recreate that feeling you got from the older Kenner line of toys. And it'd be nice if Kenner actually, if McFarlane did their take on the '89 Batman, but in the old school, retro form. So yeah, I just wanted to share this with you. Very excited to add this to my collection. Like I said, it's not perfect. The cards beat the hell, but there's just so much sentimental value to this for me. And it's awesome. There's been like a lot of renewed interest in the '89 Batman, especially with Michael Keaton reprising his role in the upcoming Flash movie. And I'm really excited about that. So I'm trying to get my fill of '89 Batman before then. All right, so with that being said, let's wrap this one up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or subscriber, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.